I'm just going to say a few words, and then I'm happy to take any questions you might have. I'd just like to say, I know you're going to be hearing from the president, from Phil Hanlon, I think later today, and he may well say the same thing, but just like to say, for me, having been here for 15 years, one of the things that brought me to Dartmouth initially to be the dean of the engineering school was this true commitment to teaching and scholarship, to scholarship and teaching. I'm sure you heard this in the interview process. I'm sure you've heard this from your colleagues, but we mean it when we talk about the importance of in-classroom, in the laboratory, and on-campus education for every undergraduate student, starting from the day they arrive on campus as first-year students, and the deep engagement with the faculty that the Dartmouth education allows. Students come here because of that commitment. They come here because we tell them they can interact with you as scholars, as mentors, and as teachers from that very first day. And it's something that I've seen, not only does Dartmouth advertise, but Dartmouth holds to be true. It's the interactions with individual students that I continue to be able to have, even in this role when I'm not regularly teaching or running a laboratory at this point anymore because of administrative responsibilities, are just wonderful. And that, plus the ability to pursue your scholarship, the ability to engage with faculty colleagues who are pushing the boundaries of knowledge, I think makes Dartmouth a particularly exciting place. One of the things I will say is that our students take this commitment to teaching very seriously. I was Dean of Engineering for 13 years, as was mentioned a few minutes ago, and one of the things I did in my time as dean that I'm unfortunately not able to do now for the full campus as provost, but I used to read the course evaluations for every class taught in engineering, every faculty member, every term. Not the numerical evaluations so much as the written comments. And one of the things that always struck me was how seriously students took that opportunity to provide feedback. I would see often comments written directly to the individual faculty member saying things like, I can tell you're trying and I appreciate the effort, and here's how this interaction in the classroom would have been more effective. Or I really acknowledge the direction you tried to take the class when you experimented in presenting this material in this particular way. And while it didn't necessarily work out, kudos to you for trying it. And my reason for pointing that out is that one of the things I often say to the community in my role as provost, and say to the faculty specifically in my role as provost, is I hope you feel that you have the freedom and the support to experiment, to try something new, not just in your scholarly work, but to try something new in the classroom, in the laboratory, in the studio when you're engaging with students. We want you to try and push the boundaries of learning as much as you try and push the boundaries in your scholarship. We want you to figure out different ways to engage and help students be participants in their learning. Dartmouth students are thirsty for that. They're interested in being partners and exploring, and I strongly encourage you to do that. Other thing I wanted to say is that, you know, in academia, here and at every institution, one of the things we speak about often is this notion of scholarship and teaching, teaching and scholarship. And I've already said that at Dartmouth, we truly mean we are committed to education equally, and we'll speak about that often. Other thing that we don't speak about so often, but I will today, is this notion that when we speak about teaching and scholarship, we're speaking about things that are in some ways the province of the individual. We're asking you to be an engaging teacher. We're asking you to be a leading scholar. We don't really talk about the importance of community. And I can't stress enough how important it is to me as provost at Dartmouth that we all of us on the faculty and staff equally think about the importance of being members of this community. It's something I speak about whenever I speak with the students. It's one of the things that brings the students here to Dartmouth. Yes, they want to engage with engaging teachers in the classroom. Yes, they want to pursue scholarship, but they speak often about being part of this incredible community in this incredible setting. We'll talk about initiatives. You'll hear about Inclusive Excellence. You'll hear about the Campus Climate and Culture Initiative, a set of initiatives that Dartmouth set out as goals for itself 2 years ago to address sexual harassment, sexual misconduct in the academy broadly. Inclusive Excellence, an initiative to build a broader and more diverse and supportive community. Those things are important, but they're really part and parcel of this broader effort to think about campus, climate, culture, and community. The Board of Trustees, whom I'll be meeting with over the next 2 days, have worked with us in the senior administration to set 2 broad thematic and strategic goals for our work collectively with the board this year. And one of them is really thinking about steps we can take to build a supportive community. So let me simply end with that and turn to take your questions. This has been an extraordinarily challenging 6-month period for all of higher ed, and Dartmouth has been no different as we've sought to work our way through the challenge that the COVID pandemic has presented. I would be happy to speak at all about our plans for the fall and the upcoming academic year, since I've played a role in making many of the decisions that the institution has made in terms of our operations. We, as you know, have put forward a full year integrated plan. We have about 50% of our undergraduate students back on campus. They started to arrive this week, and our plan is to operate, absent a vaccine, at 50% capacity throughout the entire academic year, which means every student should have the opportunity to spend 2 terms in residence on campus and 1 term learning remotely. I spent yesterday morning as a volunteer in the testing tent for the newly arriving students, most of them first-year students. And I have to tell you, I was monitoring student temperatures and getting them to fill out the healthcare form that each of us needs to, or the set of questions that each of us need to answer every day that we come on campus. And I took that opportunity to ask each of them, why'd you come to Dartmouth? What attracted you? What are you interested in studying? Their enthusiasm, even with masks and social distancing and the restrictions that are being placed on them, was just, it was inspiring for me to see. And when I asked them why they came, they spoke about this incredible environment and sense of place. They spoke about the community that they sense that Dartmouth provides, but they also spoke very directly about the faculty and the importance of engaging with each of you individually. I can't, there's just no way to translate it, but that enthusiasm, even behind the mask, the sparkle that was present in the eyes of so many of them when they talked about the chance to learn from and work with this faculty, that's real. So for those of you who are teaching this fall, even if your teaching is fully remote, I hope there'll be opportunities for you to hold office hours out on the green or take a socially distanced walk with a couple of students around campus and just get to know them. They are really excited to be here, even with all the restrictions in place, and you are an important part of the reason that they chose Dartmouth. So welcome. I'm thrilled to have you here. I hope I will have the chance to meet all of you in person over the course of this next year. And certainly I hope that you will all have long and successful and engaging careers here at Dartmouth.